Hey guys, Dee Williams here, and we are getting started with our live Q&A call that happens once a month here at Staffingpreneurs Academy. And I'm really excited. Y'all know Wednesday is literally one of my favorite days of the week because we get an opportunity to talk about one of my favorite things, which is recruitment and staffing. If this is your first time here and you are watching brand new in our private Facebook group and you're a brand new staffingpreneur and this is your first time getting an opportunity to be a part of the live Q&A call, I just want to say welcome. Like, this is an exciting time for you. You've taken a really cool step in your life and to start your own niche recruitment and staffing business. And this is like just amazing. So I just want to say welcome. And I really appreciate you being a part of the Staffingpreneurs Academy community. If you are watching on our live Facebook page, our Staffingpreneurs Facebook page, and on Facebook, we welcome you. I welcome you here. If you are watching in on LinkedIn, you're always welcome here when we do our lives. And if you're on YouTube, we appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get notifications of when I do live. So y'all know that Q&A day is one of my favorite days of the week. So before we get into the nitty gritty, again, my name is Dee Williams. If you are not familiar, I definitely want to know where you are, what's your name, where you're chiming in from, and what's your niche. Especially if you are brand new, one thing you should be shouting out on a consistent basis is my niche. What's my niche? What's my niche? What's my niche? Shout it out. So who are you? Where are you from? And what's your niche? Hey, Del. Hey, Ashoma. Nice to see you here from Calgary, Canada. Nice to see you. Hey, Daisha. I'm so glad you've been able to catch me. Hey, Mr. Afri. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the group. Derica, welcome to the group. I'm really excited for everybody, all the new staffingpreneurs who came in on the last, the new course that we just did. We recorded live. It was so phenomenal. And we're still kind of diving into getting a lot of those staffingpreneurs fully set up and ready to go into the Run It program. We have, I think, 2 people who've requested an audit who are almost fully set up and ready to launch their niche recruitment and staffing business. Okay, that's my excitement for the day. So really excited about that. So you all know that, and I just want to welcome everybody for being here. I'm going to dive right into the norm of my call, because my staffingpreneurs are here watching and waiting. Okay, so on Wednesdays we do this call. I want to definitely open up the lines for you all, for all my staffingpreneurs who want to ask questions. That's something we haven't done in the past, but we did do during our last Q&A call, and it went very well. So I want to open up the lines if you guys have questions there. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that have been happening in the industry, right? Some of the questions that I've been receiving on a consistent basis about the state of the recruitment and staffing industry. Again, I think this is a conversation that we definitely want to have. And then I also want to talk to my newbies, to my folks that have not joined the community or who are just getting in there. You're trying to understand, what is that one thing that's going to set me apart from my competitors, or what's that one thing that's going to set my business apart? I want to talk about that too, just a little bit. In the meantime, if you are in, please put your questions. If you're in the private group, if you're watching public, please put your questions in the chat box so that I can read the questions off. If you want to chime in, I'll let you know when the lines are open. Once the lines are open, you can definitely chime in and get your questions asked. We're here typically for an hour. Sometimes I go an hour and a half, depending on how fired up each and every one of you are. But this is your free for all. So you can ask any question, no matter where you are and what stage of your business. And we'll talk about how you, if you're coming in brand new, how you can definitely get involved with Staffingpreneurs Academy as well. Hey, Ernest, nice to see you here. Corporate training and development. That's a great niche. I love that. Hey, Donna, direct support professionals support people with intellectual disabilities. That's interesting. I'm interested in hearing more about that. All right. I love that. Awesome. Somebody said, let's go. Who said that? Yes. I like that fire. Are you fired up? Wow. Okay. Okay, it's too early for that fire to be flowing for some of you. I know you're not ready, but I got to get y'all into that space. Okay, so let's talk about the state of the staffing industry, because that is like the biggest question I get, like on my videos and my group coaching calls. The biggest question that I get is, Dee, like, what's going to happen with staffing? You know, outside of everything that's going on with Corona, the industry is going up, the industry is going down. Like, really, what's the state of the staffing industry? And I'm going to tell you guys a story. One, and then two, we're going to talk about the state in a little bit more detail. First of all, every time there's a recession, okay, there's one industry that lives through the recession, and that is the staffing industry. It's not the only industry, but the staffing industry definitely lives through the recession. Now, a young lady came into one of my classes the other day, LaCoya, shout out to her and her new business. And she said, Dee, she started quoting these numbers about how agencies went down during the last recession and how things didn't feel so great. And she was wondering, are we going to experience the same thing? And I really started to think about that. Like, I answered initially, and then I went back and started to think about it in detail. And one thing I want you all to pay attention to, very close attention to, is the change that has taken place in the world between 2008, right, when the last recession took place, up until now. There are two big things that have happened in a major way, right? One, technology. Technology has shifted everything in the past 10, 15 years, to be honest with you, right? And even 20 years, the technology has literally expanded, and it's growing at a massive rate. So more jobs are dependent upon technology today than what they were back in 2008, right? Or back when the last recession or last two recessions took place, which means that you have a different type of opportunity or a different type of economy that's taking place right now, right? So when you start thinking about the numbers from the last recession and the numbers of this recession, some things can definitely be looked at so that we can learn from the past. But let's think about it realistically. Our landscape has changed. So those numbers are not going to be truly valid, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to say about that is the second thing that has shifted is the workforce in general. Even though we're seeing numbers, 40 to 60 million people are unemployed, a lot of people have already taken the route of being a contractor or a freelancer, right? This independent workforce is something else that has shifted majorly since the last recession. So when we start thinking about how agencies are being affected, we're not going to be hit as hard as we were during the last recession, even though we still lived and even though we still grew. We're not going to get hit like that because the landscape has changed differently. Now, I will always say, depending on your niche, okay? That's why I say your niche is everything, right? You want to choose something that's going to stand the test of time. Or be strategic about something, knowing during these times, this particular niche is not going to probably flow like maybe another niche, and to have a backup. But it is all about the niche that you're deciding to support. So if your niche is one of those areas where the industry was hit really hard, of course you're going to feel the burn. Right? But if you chose a niche, or you're going into a niche, or you're a part of a niche that's going to constantly live, you see it a lot in the healthcare space. You see it in different versions of the IT space. I feel like those are two industries that will outlive any recession. You see it in the sales space. People are going to sell regardless of whether a recession is going on or not. Right? You see it in some parts of manufacturing, some parts of retail, right? So some parts of engineering. A lot of companies also were already ready for remote work. They were already doing remote work, which was very different from the recession in 2016. So many things have changed in the landscape. The one thing, and this is the second part of this answer I want to talk about, the one thing that I don't want you to do is to get caught up in the rhetoric that's going on out here. Because the reality is it only affects you in real life if you are a part of that, if you feed into that. And I'm a witness to that. right? I'm a witness to that. When I've had more than one staffing agency and I've experienced failures. And I was definitely one of those people during the last recession that was like, when I was fine until people started whispering in my ear, like, D, they're going to start shutting contracts down. You better be prepared, D. I was like, ooh, I got to prepare. The next thing you know, I walked right into that fire. But I listened to a couple of people over the years that have really shifted my thought process about the way I want to function now during this pandemic, during this recession, during whatever you want to call it, right? Because those are just words. During this time period, what do I choose to do? Do I choose to believe that because the world, they say things are a certain way, that's going to be the same outcome for me? Hell no. Why would I do that? That's the craziest thing in the world to do. What I am going to do is stay firm in my beliefs, stay firm in my truth. I am running my business from my heart and my soul. Right? It is what I truly desire, what I truly love. You are running your businesses with your heart and your soul. And when you are connected to your business emotionally, when you have a mission, when you're ready to drive forward that gift, that thought that your power said to you, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is who you are. None of those they say words mean anything in the big scheme of things for you. And that is the position that you have to take as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. I mean, if you're not taking that vision, think about it. That's the difference between the companies who started during the recession and are now multi-billion-dollar companies versus the companies who listened to the naysayers and went under. So you have to draw a line in the sand at this very moment in time and say, who am I? Why am I doing this? What is my real purpose of doing this? And who am I looking to impact? And what do I need to do to make sure that is the message that I'm presenting and that is what I'm doing? And you focus on that. You focus on the outcome that you desire. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Just energetically, the people that you desire to work with, the people you desire to place, the people that you're supposed to impact, where your journeys are supposed to cross their journeys in this scheme of life will happen, and it'll happen organically. And while everybody else is like, oh God, the recession, the pandemic, oh God, you're going to be like, I'm flourishing. Like, I'm flourishing. Let me show you how I can help you as well. I'm flourishing because you stayed focused on the prize. You stayed focused on your mission. You stayed focused on your purpose. And so that's what I want to tell you is that it doesn't matter what the state of the staffing industry is. It doesn't matter the state of any industry, of anything. What matters is you and your thought process and your mission and your goal. And I guarantee you, with the billions of companies or millions of companies that are out here and the millions and billions of opportunities that are out here, you only need a handful in order to get the wheel started. You only need a handful to take you from point A to point B. So stay focused in your business. Hello, high five. Wow, we are starting on fire today. If you fired up, put fired up in the chat box. That's what I'm talking about. This is where you got to be. I'm telling you, this is a mental thing. Entrepreneurship is not just about the physical. It's about the mental and the spiritual energy that you are putting into your business. Your business is your child. It is your baby. Until you decide that you want to, for the baby to grow up and move on its own and do its own thing. Maybe that's an acquisition or whatever, but this is your baby and you're birthing it from scratch. So you have to have the right mentality. If your baby comes out like looking unattractive, you're not going to go around telling people, I know my baby is ugly, but no, you're going to be telling, you're going to say, oh, my beautiful baby. And you're going to manifest the beauty in this baby. Right. So, and I'm saying that to be funny, but in real talk, that's real talk. So you have to really manage your baby and love your baby and put love and soul into your baby. So that's what I want to talk about, the state of staffing industry. Really, really, really good stuff. Dasha, she ain't ready to leave the nest in real life, right? Okay, so Tanya says she fired up. Jermaine is fired up. Hey, Jermaine. Tati is fired up. Yes, we are all S&S Consulting fired up. Ronaldo in the house. Okay, I love it. All right, we're going to open up questions. Do me a favor. The lines will be open in 2 seconds. I'll let you know when you can go and start with your questions. In the meantime, if you have questions, please add them in the chat box. I am watching. I am reading. We're going to do a little bit. We're going to talk about everything that you want to talk about today during this last couple of minutes, these last 40 minutes, and then and open up the lines. So one more thing I want to talk about today. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. It was one more thing I wanted to mention. Oh, the number one thing. I really want to talk about this. So it's actually 2 things I want to, there's actually 3 things I want to talk about. So I got this question a lot under a couple of my videos recently, and a number of emails that I received, and even during some phone calls, a question is consistently come up. And that question is like, what can I do, Dee? Like, what's the number one thing that I need to do in order to ensure that my business wins? And there are 3 major things. And I want to make sure that each and every one of you are doing these things on a consistent basis. Okay. Because it is imperative. So first things first. One thing I would like to remind you is to be, you want to always look at your metrics and your numbers, right? Most newbies that are starting this business don't even understand that there are metrics involved with building a staffing business and to running a staffing business. And as an owner, as a manager, your responsibility is to look at the numbers and to look at the metrics and to weigh them against the activity that's being produced in your business so that you can have more tangible outcomes and the types of outcomes that you want to have, right? You can kind of depict what your business will look like. If I do this much activity, then I'll actually end up with these results. We will go in. So I'll do some videos to go in a little bit more on understanding your metrics in more detail. But my question for you today as a staffingpreneur, whether you're brand new or whether you're already in business, how often are you looking at your metrics within your applicant tracking system? Put a 1 in the box if every day you are logging into your ATS and the first thing you look at is your metrics. Put a 2 in the box if you're like, I'm not looking at my metrics. I didn't even know I was supposed to look at my metrics. Holy crap, Dee, I really need to be looking at my metrics. Like, I want to know where you are with your metrics, because this is one of the first things you should do every day when you are starting and when you're opening up your computer or your laptop or your MacBook or what have you, and you're diving into your business, looking at your metrics. 1 in the box if you are flowing and you are loving and all in the swarm of your metrics. 2 in the box if you are never looking at your metrics and didn't even know that that was something you should be doing. Okay, I definitely want to hear from you. I see a lot of 1s. I also see a lot of 2s coming through. So that's something we definitely have to work on. Okay, I see 2s, but moving to 1s. I like that. That positive space. You're going into that positive space. Okay, the second thing that I want to talk to you about is follow-up. How many people have heard me say there is fortune in the follow-up? Put a 1 in the box if you've heard me say there's fortune in the follow-up. I'm going to tell you one thing. Your business will not function properly if you're not following up. I know there are a ton of things that you have to do in the business on a consistent basis. But the one thing that you have to understand is following up is the key to this business. It's the first key to this business, not the second, not the third. It's the first key, right? In order to get the type of activity that you want and need in your business, you have to follow up, and it has to be a part of your daily schedule. It has to be a part of your strategy. It is something that you have to make. It's got to be kind of like a make or breaker type of thing, right? You know how, you would not go a day without brushing your teeth. At least I hope that's the case. Or washing your booty. You've got to follow up every day. You can't go a day without following up. It's imperative. Put it on your schedule. Put time aside, an hour to 2 per day where you're following up and keeping a constant follow-up schedule with people every day. Now, I think that I think I can share my screen. I'm going to share my screen for a second here because I want to show you how important this is. Okay, about this whole follow-up thing. All right, so I hope you guys, okay, great. You can see my screen there. So I'm going to go into my applicant tracking system. I'm going to log out of my clients here. and log into mine. And the applicant tracking system that I use is crelate.com/D. You can check it out. And one of the things that I like to do and I'm going to use my profile so I don't screw anything up. So one of the things that I like to do is to create my daily list of calls is when I'm going through and I'm talking to and I'm clicking on individual candidates, right? I call them great people in my ATS. Great people. And I'm clicking on each one and I'm having conversations and I'm putting in my information. So maybe I did a LinkedIn connection request. Maybe I did I sent an email out. Okay, maybe I actually had a phone conversation with them. When I have the phone conversation, after I do that, or after I send an email or my LinkedIn invite, one of the first things I like to do is to create a task so that I know that this is going to be the next time I need to schedule the next time I'm going to reach out to that person. So if it's regarding a job opportunity, then it will go there. But for me, I typically like to schedule my calls either later in the week or my follow-ups later in the week or my follow-up the next week. So I may put it on my Thursday time follow-up, and all my follow-ups are typically done in the afternoon. So I may do my follow-up at 3:30 p.m. and I may say rotation 1 or rotation 2, or you can call them connections or follow-ups, whatever you want to call them. I call them rotations because in marketing, they say it takes 12 to 24 times for someone to decide that they want to actually do business with you. So I don't freak myself out in my mind. I like to log in my rotations or log in my follow-ups. So I know that I still have a ways to go. Now, it may happen before then, right? But at least I know I still have a ways to go before I should be freaking out about this person not connecting back with me. So I'll put it in as like my follow-up 1, but I call them rotations or connections. So my rotation 2, I may say, leave a Vmail about recent changes in blank, okay, whatever. So that would be my follow-up 2, save and close. Then the next time I talk to them, and then I put the time on there. I hope I did. So let me just go back and edit. So I did it for July 9th at 3:30. Now, what happens is every day when I come in, I can go and look at my tasks and I can see which ones are overdue, which ones I didn't go in and say that I followed up and completed, which I did, right? Or which ones that I need that are coming up in the future, right? This was a testing one I had for someone. This is the one that I just put in today. But what happens is that it creates your call list for you every day so that you can have a continuous flow of activity happening in your business on a consistent basis. And that is super duper imperative when you are talking about, like doing your thing, right? So just keep that in mind. So that follow-up, the fortune in the follow-up on both the candidate side and your leads or your prospect and your client side is imperative, and it needs to be a part of your strategy. Okay, so the first one, so we talked about fortune in the follow-up. We talked about, what was the first one we talked about? Who has it in the, because my brain just went fried because I'm already on my third one. Okay, Vision, I see Vision 702. Perfect. I'll come back to you in a second. Okay, I see that. Okay, perfect. I see all my questions. Okay, great. Okay, so the third thing that I want to talk about is consistency. Every day. So first we talked about you're looking at your numbers. Second, we talked about fortune in the follow-up. And third is consistency. In order for this to actually work and to come across the way you want, and for you to actually really get the benefit that you want out of the ROI that you want out of your staffing business, there has to be a level of consistency that takes place every day. And I know that sounds like for some of you, like that's a no-brainer, Dee, but it's actually not a no-brainer for a lot of people, especially if you're starting this business like while you're working a full-time job and you're trying to make that transition, which a lot of my students do. They have to start out working, they're looking for this transition, or many people now are like furloughed or whatever the case may be, and they're trying to figure out, they're going from this perspective of working for someone else now to being your own boss and having that time freedom that you really didn't have when you were working for someone else. And having that consistency sometimes can be really challenging. And so it's something that you need to understand. In order for the business to work properly, you have to have a level of consistency. You have to get into your business every day. It can't be 3 days a week or 5 days. It has to be every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. You have to get into your business. And in the beginning, it's probably going to be 7 days a week. No BS. Like in the beginning, it's going to be 70 days a week. And as you start to grow your team and you start to take more of the owner approach and your team is running, then you can go back to 5 days or go back to 3 days. But initially you are growing your business. So think about it. When a newborn baby first comes home, you're consistently with that baby. You're up all night. You're feeding the baby. You're clothing the baby. You're burping the baby. You're watching the baby sleep. You're cooing over the baby. You're doing all of these things, taking the baby to the doctor. But it's an everyday type of thing, 7 days a week when that baby first comes home. And so like when you're first getting into your business, understand it's a 7 day a week type of thing. You can't say, oh, I'm starting a business now. I have life freedom, time freedom. It doesn't happen that way. That's not real life. Real life is you have to get into your business first. And then you come back and once you grow the business and get it to the place that you want to be, then you go back and you step back. But in the beginning, you can't just step back. Okay. In the beginning, you don't step back. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So those are my 3 things. So this was really important because we have a lot of newbies in our community, a lot of people that understand there are 40 million to 60 million people unemployed. Those people definitely have to go back to work, right? Whether it's now in the next year or two, they have to go back to work. The outlets and the economists are predicting that while this pandemic is still happening, most of those jobs are going to flow through staffing agencies. So you are the answer. If this is your passion, if this is what is in your heart, you are the freaking answer. So now is the time, right? Now is the time to start putting things into play. So now we're going to open up the floor and we're going to open up the line. The number is on the screen, 866-432-8801. Press 3 and we can talk. You will be live. In the meantime, I'm going to go through some of these questions because there are a ton of questions out here. And let's just see. Yvonne Manning, ATL Niche Healthcare Nurses. Woo! Dell is over here with the RN, LPN staffing, right? Ernest is corporate training. I love it. Direct staffing. Okay, we talked about this. Okay, question. How can the new executive order benefit us? I don't know what the new executive order is. I don't watch TV. So I only get my internet from the news. So you've got to fill me in. I apologize. Like if somebody emails me, if I get something from one of my partners or whatever, but I don't watch TV at all, to be honest with you. And I only use social media for business. So you got to tell me about the executive order because I haven't received an email or anything about that. Outside of filing paperwork to form the business, what's needed to get started as a staffing agency? Oh, there's a ton of things needed when you're starting out or when you're talking about the setup of the business, right? When you're talking about the setup. So I'm going to put a link in the box here because I literally go through each step of the setup in one of my courses. And I'm going to talk about exactly what we go through with that setup. And I want to give you all a place to go in and to look if you're interested. Hold on one second here. I'm going to put this I'm going to post this comment right there. And so y'all should see that coming in. But when we start talking about the setup of the business, the first thing you want to do is to have an overview of your business, of exactly how the business works. Staffing doesn't just work from one facet. There are many different versions of the staffing business that you can embark on. So it's up to you to understand what version you are, that you're representing yourself, and how you want to position yourself in the industry, right? You want to figure out what your business model is going to be, what type of business model you're going to use. You're going to want to understand how to generate income. And there's the traditional way and there's a new modern way. And most people aren't teaching the modern way. And it's very interesting that they're not teaching the modern way, because if you think about it, Recruiting, you have two customers in recruiting and staffing. You have your employers, which is your business to business type of conversations that you're having. And then you have your candidates, which are your business to consumer type of conversations. So there are two lines of business. There are two types of customers that you're selling to. And most people only take the traditional route and don't even think about the modern day way of selling, especially if you have two lines of business. And we go through that in the course in great detail. You have to flush your niche market out. If you're going to start a staffing business, you need to know your market from front, in, and out, detailed down to the core, down to how many are in your industry. How many hiring managers you have the ability to connect with, how many candidates you have the ability to connect with, where are they located, what are your top 10 cities, what gets them excited, what are some of the challenges that they're having. Like, you need to know your market in and out, because if you don't know this part, it's going to be way challenging to do sales and business development. And I saw a lot of the comments in here, and a lot of people, their big question always is, how do I get the client? And I feel like they go so fast, because you have to do the foundational work in order to be able to put together your strategies of how to get the client, right? And actually going about doing that. But that starts with understanding your niche market and understanding the numbers around your niche market, so that you can start doing just that, which is creating strategies on what are the best ways to get in the door with this company, or what are the best ways to connect with a potential type of candidate. That's imperative, right? So without understanding your market fully, you won't get there. We go through that in grave detail in my course. Then you're going to legalize the business, make sure you have a business license, LLC, all of that stuff. That's the thing that people think means that their business is set up. And that's just 1/3 or one quarter of the setup of the business is legalizing, right? You want to make sure you have all your forms and your contracts. You have 7 main ones that you're going to use on a consistent basis. You want to make sure that they are customized to your business. You want to make sure that your attorney has looked them over. You also want to make sure you have your policies and your procedures written out before you launch. This is like one of the things that most newbies don't do. They do not set up policies and procedures. Most of them don't even understand how things actually work, like what the process is. They have this idea that the process works the way it did in 1989 and it's 2020. So they're already 10 steps behind. And you're going to learn a little bit more about that as I keep going down this list, because technology should be embedded in your business every step of the way. I heard through the grapevine recently that there's a guy out here telling people that to start a staffing business, you don't need technology, you don't need an ATS, you don't need a niche. Run far away from anybody who tells you that today. And I say that with very strong conviction. That's somebody who is trying to set you up for failure and not setting you up for success from day one. Any business that's telling you not to include technology is crazy. It's 2020. That is how you get ahead. AI is the future. Machine learning is the future. Anybody who's telling you to use an Excel spreadsheet only, please run. Do not listen, okay? All right, let me keep going. So you also want to make sure you're compliant, right? So your insurances, you want to make sure that you have. You also, if you're in the healthcare sector and you're starting a business, you want to try to make sure that you're setting up your business from the beginning so that you can be J-code certified, or so you can make your J-code certification an easier process. We do that in our course as well. You want to make sure you have your funding, both your business funding and your payroll funding and your back office. Your technology needs to be embedded into your system from every direction, not just from running the business as an ATS, but also from the perspective of automation. Like, the world functions in automation. The majority of the world is either here or they are online, and you have, or on email or text or chat bots. And your job is to create automations in all of those areas to, one, help you run the business by yourself, right? Or with the small team that you have, or even if you're watching this and you have a large team and you have zero automation in your business, you probably want to give me a call, because automation is how staffing agencies are winning today, both pre-automation, post-automation, and then automation within your ATS, in addition to your email marketing and your chatbot automation. So there are many different, and your SMS, there are many different automations that are out there. So technology is key. Being able to understand how to use the technology is also key. In this business, you're going to spend a lot of money purchasing data, information, leads. So you've got to be prepared for that. Brand building. You've got to build your brand out. I'm so sick of seeing, and I love you, Wix. I love you. It's another site. Please get a nice professional HTML or WordPress website, one that you can grow with and that can grow with your business, especially if you take my course, because I show you all of these different ways that you could generate revenue. And you're going to want to use a site that's going to allow you to grow on that site versus something that is very static and that's harder for people to edit. Also, you should be thinking about funnels. Your mind mentally, you should be thinking about recruitment funnels, and you should be thinking about sales and business development funnels for your business. Also, you want to get your email marketing campaign set up. One of the things that we do in our class is we go through the full client and candidate journey, the separate journeys, and then what journeys that they share together. And when you're able to look at the full entire journey, you're able to see all the different places where you can automate a portion of the conversation that you may not necessarily be able to have with someone face to face because they're entering into your world online or via email. That's where the power of automation really comes in. So we go through that in grave detail in our Run It course. We start to lay the foundation in our setup course, but in our Run It course, we actually start to build those things out, which is really, really exciting. But on the setup side, you definitely want to have all of your automation set up, and you definitely want to go through your journey so that you can see where it's best to put that automation. And then your social media. So you want to get your social media set up and start creating a social media strategy. Most people think they have to outsource social media. You don't always have to outsource social media. It's actually something that can sometimes, many times, be done in-house just based on the things that you're doing on a consistent basis. One of my favorite staffingpreneurs, and you all should look him up, his business is First Health Pro. His name is Henry Landau. I absolutely love Henry. He spent a lot of his early time when he started his staffing business really getting to know LinkedIn in a very intimate way. He took time to write in his blog. He took time to write articles that were meaningful on LinkedIn. And he got to the point where he didn't even have to do sales and business development. Sales and business development came to him. I also want to mention that a lot of you that are asking about sales and business development, you all are on the wrong platforms when it comes to social media. And I probably shouldn't share this. This should probably only be for my private community, but I'll say this. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. What the hell are you doing? For people, what are you doing? I just saying, what are you doing? There's a great lady that I love. I posted a video that she put out. Her name is Sunny. I can't pronounce her last name, Sunny L. I'll put her link in the bottom. She is amazing. She teaches how to launch your Facebook course. I absolutely love this woman. And like I said, I shared a video that she did recently where she lost a lot of her followers because she came out and said how she felt disdain for the way the country was treating brown and black lives. And so she lost the majority of her followers. And I thought, that's crazy. And I thought it just took a lot of strength for somebody to come out and say, it's time to disrupt the algorithm. I came out and decided to be myself. And then people left because of that. And so I definitely want to support her and what she's doing. YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. This woman I joined her community. She really helped me. I'm going to put her stuff in the box here. She really helped me get my YouTube channel up and going. And she's just amazing. And she is here on on LinkedIn as well. So let me give you all her channel. So I want y'all to reach out to her and sign up for her course because she's amazing. And she's going to teach you some stuff that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of it that way. Okay. So really cool thing. Also, big shout out to JT Hustles for taking the time to do a business reaction video on one of my videos. That was so awesome. JT, if you're watching, we definitely need to do a collab. because that was amazing. If you all haven't seen the reaction video, I'll also drop the link in here so you can check it out. It was totally amazing. Go subscribe to his channel as well. All right. So I hope that was helpful. Oh, the last thing I want to say on that list when getting started, Ernest, is you got to have strategies. It's so amazing how many new people don't even create a strategy. They start their business and then they immediately just run out there and start calling anybody or start emailing anybody randomly with no strategy. You really literally want to sit down and create strategies for your business. And we go through this in our setup course. What direction do I want to take to connect with these people? What did I find out when I flushed out my niche market was a major problem? And how can I address that problem? Can I address it through webinars? Can I address it through my YouTube channel? Can I address it through podcasts? Can I address it through blogs? Can I address it through lunch and learns? Can I address it through a training program? Can I address it through an e-commerce store? I can keep going if you want. I'm just fired up right now. Who's fired up on this call? Who's fired up on this call right now? Who is fired up? That's what I'm talking about. Let me know you're fired up. So it can go any different way, but you have to have strategy. You have to have a strategic route, a strategic path to get to where you want to be. Don't just say I'm having challenges in sales or business development or setting up the business or getting my business to kick off and you don't have any strategies. As an owner, that's your responsibility. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, all of these people, they have strategies on how they're, think of the, who's the gentleman who owns Amazon and strategized, let's go and buy Whole Foods. He was strategizing. That's what owners do. That's what bosses do. Okay. I hope that was helpful, Ernest. Deshaya, I hope I said your name right. I love you, Pooh. I'm in the niche of virtual staffing and healthcare, admin, logistics, trying to see how to get government contracts. I'm a vet. I have an LLC dumb. Okay, so I just gave you a whole list up. But one thing I want to say, sweetheart, is start off with one thing. There are 19,000 staffing agencies as of the 2012 census. I know 100% for sure I'm a part of that number going up. Out of those 19,000 staffing agencies, 10,000 of them are doing $1 million a year less in their business. And it's probably because they lack a niche and they lack structure. So what I would say to you is that you can do any niche that you want to do ultimately, but start off in one place with one niche area. You don't need to do $1 million unless you have a whole team like a Randstad or a Manpower. They have the ability to have $1 million different niches because they have offices across the globe. You're not in that position. You're starting by yourself as far as I can tell. So start off with one. Get your feet wet into that specific niche space. Let people know that this is your space that you're focusing on. This is what you know best. This is what you can provide with ease, and start getting some traction under your belt. Once you get traction and people see that you're consistent and they see that you're good at what you do, then what they will do is they'll ask you to fill other roles. And then you'll go ahead and you'll be able to do that. And then you'll also be able to see where now that you're generating revenue, you can create opportunities to hire additional staff and to create the next division, the admin division and the logistics division. So that's number one. Number two, healthcare, admin, and logistics don't go together under any circumstances. Admin can maybe fluctuate between healthcare and logistics, but they're three totally different lines of business. And that's just not a smart business decision when you're first getting started. If you're going to do more than one role, it should be all in the healthcare space or all in the admin space or all in the logistics space. And they should all work together, not be in totally different lines of business. You want to create a smart setup of your business, right? You want to be smart with the way you build your business out. You don't want to make it so that your business is working. You have to work hard. This is supposed to be a beautiful, joyfulest, loving experience. So you want to make sure that you're being smart about the way you're building your business out. So keep everything close in. Also, it's great that you want to do business contracts, but you want to do business and you want to have a commercial division. And I'm going to tell you why. And I've been in this situation. I have the t-shirt because sometimes the government does crazy things and then they stop working and they stop paying. And then you are going to be in a position where you now don't have any income coming in. You have to be able, if you're going to do government, then you have to have a commercial. If you're going to do commercial, government is optional. But if government is your main focus, you have to have a commercial division so that you can be able to offset. I actually got fired from a contract once for telling a company this. And then within a year and a half, they lost all their government contracts and then they were out of business. But they fired me for actually saying that. They fired me for saying to them that I feel like that if only managing one division government is something is to happen, the business is going to fall. And it actually happened. So I know that happens for a truth. I've experienced that. So keep that in mind as well. Great questions. I encourage you to get involved in my program, really, because there's a lot. You're gonna be very surprised. Most people think they're set up until they go through my program and they realize, dang, I really wasn't set up the way my foundation really wasn't set up properly in order for me to actually really launch and make money, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, so I want to keep going to the questions. Good afternoon, Lady D. I love you. I love you more. How do you work a pay bill to charge a customer for your service so you're not overbidding or underbidding yourself? Is there a cap pay per state? Okay, so we're talking about billing. Yeah, so typically, depending on the line of business that you're in and the type of staffing that you're doing is going to determine your pay rate. If you're talking about the contract side, if you're in a commercial side of the business where you're doing like admin, customer service, warehouse, your markup, you're typically doing like a 45 to 55% markup on the pay rate, right? If it's on the professional solutions or the executive search side, then it's typically a 55 to 65% markup. And so if you keep those numbers around there, then you will have you'll have a good gauge of where you are. What's going to be important is for you to understand what's the industry standard for the hourly rate or the salary for those for the positions that you're filling, and then you can do your markup there. I actually have a calculator that you can purchase if you'd like on recruitmentstore.com. I'll put the link in the box, and you can actually go in and it'll calculate. It's 3 different calculators into one, but it will actually calculate your bill rates for you, and as well on the direct hire side of things. Let me, here it is. I'm going to get this and put this in the box for you so you could take a look at this. Okay, awesome. All right, so I did that on there. And no, it's not per se a cap per state. It really is what the industry demands, right? So like Robert Half has like the highest margins out there, right? I think they do like a 45% gross profit margin, where you may see some of the staffing agencies that place like warehouse and commercial, they may have like a 40% is probably too low. 28 or 26 to 28% gross profit margin. So it shifts depending on your business model. What else do I have? Tons of questions here. I think I missed the phone call. So if it was you, call back. Can I put a 3 for what is an applicant tracking system? Ernest, you cannot have a staffing business without an applicant tracking system. An applicant tracking system is the technology that's used to manage your client relationships, that's used to manage your candidate relationships, that's used to see where your clients and candidates are throughout the hiring and the sales process, to be able to connect with your candidates, to store all of their information. It is the key to look at your reports every day. It is by far the key technology needed in order to run your niche recruitment and staffing business the right way. And I'll put who we use in the chat box. If you use my name, you can also get a discount, and they're going to set your backend up the way that my Staffingpreneurs have their backend set up. So I just added the link in the box there. You can go to Crelate and let them know that that you saw one of my videos and that you are starting or you already have a staffing business, and this is a technology you want to do a demo. When you go to that link, it'll send you to a demo. So you could just go ahead and look at the demo and see if it's something that's for you. Great question. Do you teach how to get started in the business? Yep, every day. I just put the link in the box below. I absolutely love it, actually. Not only do I teach how to get started in the business, I actually have a great partnership with the American Staffing Association where I get to do webinars with them throughout the course of the year. I've done work with Disrupt HR. I speak all over the place. In addition, I work with corporate companies who are looking to grow their recruitment teams. Right. So, so I get to do that as well, which I absolutely love. And then I also work with corporate staffing agencies who are looking to grow their sales and business development departments or their recruitment teams, or who are looking to just create more strategy within their business. So if you're working with me as a coach, you really get the benefit in a lot of different ways, because I get to see things from an owner's perspective. I get to see things from a corporate perspective and from a staffing perspective, which allows me to be beneficial to all parties. So I get to bridge that gap. And it's just a very powerful space to be in. So I'm very thankful for the work that I have the ability to do. Someone says, correct, have so many to follow up on, not like turnover like needed. Yep. Please give us a tip on how to engage new clients. I think the old way of engaging new clients was just saying, hey, do you work with staffing agencies? Engaging with clients is about understanding what is going on with them, understanding what type of challenges those clients are having, and being able to talk to them from that perspective. When I reach out to clients, I like to have smart conversations. I like to have done my research in the beginning to kind of know what's going on. So to talk about that, to start the conversation that way. If I understand what's happening in my market as a whole, I may start the conversation in a way that's comfortable for me. I'm comfortable on video. I'm comfortable doing webinars. I'm comfortable on my podcast. So I would probably go, connect with my customers in that way. I'm a great writer. So my emails, I have something to say. So I personally take a different approach. I like to research. I like to find out what's going on with that customer. Has something happened in the news recently? Did they receive something? Did they earn something? What challenges are they having? If I'm talking to candidates that are looking for new opportunities, and I kind of hear what they're saying is a challenge within that particular company, that might be a way for me to say, maybe that's somebody I need to reach out to see if I can support them. It sounds like they're having some challenges. So I like to look for how I can solve the problem. I'm not interested in just getting a client to get a client. All money is not good money. I've learned that the hard way. I'm not interested in just having a client. I actually am interested in having real partners, people who believe in me and believe in the value and what I have to offer, and people that I believe in. And I believe that they're providing something, meaningful to society. So it's a two-way street. And so, that is something I think that you really want to think about. And then also just be yourself when you're engaging them. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. Live in your truth of who you truly are. It's imperative, right? It's imperative. So I hope that was helpful. Hello, Dee. Love the positive energy. Love you. Have tons of questions, but basically, how does one start from scratch? Already answered that today. You can go back and watch the replay, but I know you got so much out of that. D Jackson, sorry I have to leave for supervision meeting, but thank you so much for this. It's very informative. I look forward to additional information. Thanks, Dee. Love you so much. Carrie, and I thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. Hey, Pam, how are you? How do you determine your niche staffing area? Oh, this is a good one. And we spent about an hour and a half in my setup course on going through your niche. And we give all of these little sheets that go with it so that you can structure it out. Your niche market is comprised of almost 6 areas, right? So you have the types of companies that you want to do business with. You have the industry that you're in, the industry that you're supporting, the niche within that industry that you're supporting, like the specific area of that entire niche market that you're supporting. You have the candidates, the types of candidates or the positions that you're going to fill. And then you have the hiring manager that you're going to be reaching out to. And then I feel like I'm missing one more thing. And so you have all of these components that you're looking at, and you're defining whether or not that particular niche space makes sense for you, right? So you're looking at how many positions are open in the market, how many people hold that job title in the market, how many hiring managers are looking for those types of people in the market. Is the market growing? Is it slowing down? So you're looking for a whole different, it's a ton of different variables that you're going to think about that defines whether or not your market is right for you. Is it, what do the salaries look like and the hourly rates? What are the biggest cities or the top cities where this particular market is thriving and where is it not? One of the things we partner with Career Builder, who I love. They're like one of our favorite partners. And I'm going to share, one of the things that they have on here. I talk to my students about all the time. This is like something that I find to be so valuable, when you're using Career Builder. And if you're interested, we definitely have a special pricing for our staffingpreneurs. So if you're interested in that, then you want to reach out to us and let us know. We can connect you so that you can experience that discount for being a staffingpreneur. So if I go into my Career Builder account, one of the key things that they have that I find to be very, 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 very powerful is their insight section. And this is going to come up in a second here. Okay. And they have like this insight, supply and demand piece. LinkedIn has something similar to this. But I kind of like Career Builders and the way it functions. They say that it's edible so that you can actually, put your label, put your logo and brand on it and actually use it as collateral or as a digital asset for your business. And if you don't know what a digital asset is, you need to be in my setup course. Okay. So let's just see. I'm going to just put in IT sales. Okay. And see what comes up. Okay, so one of the things that I love about this, they give you an executive summary. They tell you how many candidates are in supply, and this is based on their database or their platform, I'm assuming, and also as well as social profiles. So they tell you the different titles. They also tell you what's the demands. Right. So they have like 160,000 candidates, but it's 5 million jobs that are out there that are looking for these same types of job titles. That's crazy. So that tells you that you're going to have a harder time finding the talent, but getting the jobs are going to be very easy. Right. So you can kind of see right off the break. And so then you could see where the top companies are, where these positions are wanted. The top companies that are hiring for sales, you can actually see the trends in the comparison, which is really cool. You can see the favorable locations so that you don't even have to, you can just identify, okay, these are the top cities where I should be focusing my efforts on. And then you can also see where the compensation is, the low, the mid to the high. And then and that's the salary. So you can be on all different levels, depending on the type of role that you're looking at. And then you can also look at this from a hourly perspective, what they would earn hourly, and then what the top companies pay on an hourly basis. So I felt like this is like one of the most powerful tools that we can have as a staffingpreneur, just to really kind of understand how to flush the niche market out, one, but two, not just to understand how to flush the niche market out, but to be able to give our clients and our candidates a better understanding of what's happening in our market space. And that's one of the things that makes us so valuable as staffing agency owners. So this is really, really, really cool. Angela, that is Career Builder. That's one of our partners. Hey, Angela, that's Career Builder. And so that's one of the partners that we use to find great talent, but also to create strategy around what type of talent we want to talk to, what type of talent we want to go after, what the talent landscape looks like, and also to be able to look at the market as a whole and to present that as a portion of the brand. So really, really great tool, great resource. Okay, so we're like close to our 1 hour. Do we have any additional questions? Am I missing anything for my staffingpreneurs? I'm going to go here on my phone here and just make sure that that everyone in the community, that all of your questions have been answered as well. I know we answered a lot of questions for folks that are live, but I definitely want to make sure that all the questions are being answered here as well. So hold on, let me go through because I'm actually live on my phone as well. All right, so good. So I think we've got all the questions. If not, then you can definitely put your questions underneath the video. Again, if this is your first time watching here on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe to my channel and push the notification button so that you'll know when new videos are being launched. If you're here on LinkedIn, I share videos all the time about setting up businesses, starting and setting up businesses, not just recruitment and staffing, but I help people start their coaching brand, their digital marketing brand. I work with brick and mortar companies as well. I am really passionate about training and coaching, all the things that I know. So stick around for my channel and just have a good time because I'm always sharing some really good stuff. On Facebook, if you're on my main page and you haven't signed up for the Academy, we have 3 tiers. We have the high school tier, which is the setup course where we show you how to set up your business. It comes with a weekly accountability call. Once you're set up, then you can graduate to the university plan, which is our Run It course, which is where you learn how to run the business. Every Monday, we focus on running the business as a business owner, as to do sales. So running the business as a business owner. Also, week 2, we focus on working in the business, learning how to work in the business, doing talent pipelining, doing talent attraction and sourcing. Week 3 on Mondays, we focus on sales and business development. Week 4 on Mondays, we focus on recruiting and onboarding. So you can get a full idea of how to run your business and how to work in your business. And then you can graduate to our graduate program, which is our scale up program. Our scale up program, we meet every Wednesday at 3 p.m. And it's only for folks that are generating revenue in their business. We have folks in that group that are generating revenue from $0 to $10 million a year. I think one person is almost at 12 million. And that's kind of our max right now in that group. But that's the group that everyone is obtaining or trying to get to. Each group, you have to have your setup completed completely before you can get into the Run It group, because we use all the tools and resources in the setup group in order to implement the strategies in the Run It group. And the Run It group, you have to have landed your first contract, made your first placement, and received your first check before you can graduate to go into the Scale Up group. When we get into the Scale Up group, it's all about growing and scaling your business. Now you got money generating in your business. How do you take that money and put it back into the business? How do you take that money to invest it to grow? How do you take that money to scale your team? How do you take that money to create better processes? What is the next phase for your business? Those are the things that we go through in the Scale Up. So we have a very structured program. And everything is being currently moved to a new platform, which I'll be doing a whole totally different video about to introduce you all to the new platform that the Staffingpreneurs Academy will be living on. If you're in my private group, you already know about it. Secrets. And there you go. Yeah. So the question was, is your program applicable in Canada? Of course. There are different laws that you definitely have to abide by, but of course they apply it in Canada. We have people all over the globe in our program. So we definitely have Canadians in our program. We have people that are in Africa who are in our program. We have people that are in Australia that are in our program. We have people that are in India that are in our program. We have people that are in Japan that are in our program. We have people all over the freaking globe. I think Poland, all over the globe, Finland, and like everywhere. So the only difference in the process is more of just like the currency exchange and the legality, but the setup of the business is the same, right? So Angela said, is this a paid version? How do we get to where you were sharing? I think you can also plug this into a LinkedIn search. Yeah, Angela, I think that it is that I do believe LinkedIn has a version of this. I do believe that I don't know who has more candidates, CareerBuilder or LinkedIn. I know CareerBuilder has been around longer. Their database is really intense since they've been around for such a long time. So that's something I would probably have to get to know. But the data that they're pulling, from what I understand, is based on the data that's within their database. Now, I'll check with them to see if it's more of an AI thing and they're looking at data from across the entire web. In addition to other platforms. But as far as I know, as of now, it's just data that's being pulled from CareerBuilder. And if you're a recruiter, that's valuable information, right? That's valuable information for your business, for your customers, for your candidates. So super duper important to get to that. I hope today was really beneficial for you all. I hope this Q&A call really got your wheels turning a little bit, got you starting to think about, what do I need to do differently? What do I need to pick up a little bit more aggressively? What do I need to stay away from? The one thing I'll say is, a lot of times in the beginning, newbies focus on doing things that do not generate revenue. Focus on doing things that generate revenue. It will be very much so benefit you in the end. So that is so imperative. Yes, it's a paid version, Angela. It's a paid version. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to join all of your calls. If you're in any of the programs, don't miss a call. The replay will be there. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. I love my Wednesday Q&A calls. I think they're absolutely phenomenal. And just to have the ability to hang out with each and every one of you is a blessing. The one thing we didn't do today is talk about successes. So when we meet next month, we'll start the call off with successes, and then I'll go into my spiel, because we have had so many crazy successes in the group. It's really imperative that that's something that we actually share. I hope you all have a phenomenal day. Breathe love and life into your businesses. All right, Staffingpreneurs, I love y'all. Have a good day. Bye.